Hey there, Jets Nation. Welcome back to One Jets Pod. Whether you're tuning into our video content or joining us on our audio-only platforms, we've got you covered. If you're enjoying what you hear or see, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't just gently tap, but smash that bell icon to stay notified whenever we drop new content. Also, we love comments and 5-star ratings. Thanks again, Jets fans. Now together, let's fuel the green and white passion. Let's go, Jets.
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium. Hit it!
What is going on, Jet Nation? This is Randy with the One Jets Pod, and welcome to the weekly mock draft here at the One JP. And I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Dominic Lorenz. Dominic, my brother, how are you?
We're doing fantastic. Another week of the off season. There is a lot to go over. And we were talking about this right before we hit the record. This is going to be a very intriguing, interesting off season, I think, in recent years. And, you know, you're in the GM chair today, so looking all fancy with the polo and the Jets chain, all looking ready to go. I, of course, you know, last week it was this because I was GM, but this week it's back to this. But I will say,
back to scouting.
Back to scouting. This is not a product placement, but I do have the green and white by a specific coffee brand.
There it is.
You know, so I got the white and green. I don't want to give the full logo because we don't want to give credit. But again, I do have that white and green for the Jets today as my supportive isms today for the One JP.
Absolutely. Now we were just talking. I'm going to let you pick the subject you want to kick us off with today. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think overall, you know, as we record the podcast, today was franchise tagging day. Yeah. So a couple surprises, a couple non-surprises. Overall, for me, the biggest surprise of the bunch was the Carolina Panthers lining back Burns getting kept. Carolina ain't going anywhere right now. They're under a complete regime change. Yep. That was a little shocking to me, but I know they want to have at least a pinpoint on defense to kind of mold around. So I get it. The one that wasn't a shocker to me was Baker Mayfield not getting tagged by Tampa Bay because I feel he performed well enough this year to garner at least a 2 to 3 deal. And with Mike Evans, somebody we're going to talk about, and this is a perfect segue right here, Mike Evans gets his contract extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think you could see maybe not the money side of things, but the years side of things be very similar for Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans. You still got the two of them put together once Baker signs. You got Chris Godwin, nice offensive buds. Ricard Wright, their running back, is very, very good. Cade Otton, not the best tight end, but he gets the job done. And that defense under Todd Bowles has been very good. And in a division in the NFC South, that for the main portion of it is a two-man race with Tampa and New Orleans.
Yeah.
Atlanta, they have the capabilities if they had a quarterback and a couple other pieces. So who knows what can happen this offseason. But primarily,
there's a chance, you know, Atlanta can end up with either Justin Fields or
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins out of Minnesota.
And that could change the complexity of a team as well. Because Atlanta had, to me, looking at the season now, 2020 vision, you know, with it being in the past, by all accounts, the division should have been New Orleans or Atlanta's. Tampa Bay should have had no reason to be in that division. But Atlanta had so many games that they could have won that they just didn't put the dagger in it. And New Orleans, if they didn't lose by a point to Green Bay in week, 3 or 4, they would have been in the playoffs. And that could have changed the whole complexity of the playoffs. So I really think, again, conveniently, Carolina and Tampa, the two teams from the NFC South, surprised me a little bit. But you know, with Tampa Bay in mind, Mike Evans, he's not going to be a Jet.
No, and I don't think he ever was going to be a Jet, man. I think
it was great in theory.
His heart was solely in Tampa Bay. I mean, that's where he wanted to be.
Yeah.
I don't think Tampa Bay was ever going to let him get to free agency. I think this whole time they've been talking, which, you know, I mean, that's not shocking. But, you know, that he is Mr. Tampa Bay, you know. He's been there a decade, dude.
Okay, I will say, if I say Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's the first player that comes to mind?
Mike Evans.
You know, to me, it's a tie between Mike.
I mean,
Evans.
unless you're talking all time, it's Warren Sapp. But for
that, and
right
that's
now,
what I was.
It's Mike Evans.
Mike Evans and Warren Sapp are the top two in my mind. Maybe you can put Gruden as the head coach during the championship run.
Sure.
But I would say Mike Evans and Warren Sapp are your top two of all time. Now I could,
or even Mike Alstott too. Let's not. Yeah.
You know, I could be a little biased and say John Lynch. Oh, because he's the Niners GM. You know, I'm not going to say that. But you know, in theory, yes, Mike Evans is a mainstay. But you know, with Mike Evans, and we've talked about last week and throughout the season and the offseason, the Jets needing maybe another, you know, a wide receiver too. And last week when I was in the GM chair, I said Michael Pittman Jr. gets a deal. He got franchise tagged by the Indianapolis Colts.
Sure did.
Not surprised, even though it's going to cost him $21 million, which I gave him a 22 per year contract last year, so.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, it sounds like a lot of money, but I think it's a good move for Indianapolis. They're in a win. I don't want to say win now, but they overproduced last year. They're competitive. They're going to be against Houston in that division. They're getting their star rookie, now going into year 2 quarterback, Anthony Richardson back. I think you needed that security blanket for a rookie coming off a surgery year. So I like that move. With that being said, the wide receiver market gets a little thin, but you know where the free agent market it's thriving? Running backs and cornerbacks. And truthfully, running backs, remember all the talk last year. Running backs aren't getting paid. They're not getting paid. The contract's this, the contract's that. And Jonathan Taylor gets that multi-year deal with the Colts. He was the first domino. And now you have players like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard. There's rumors that Joe Mixon could be cut from Cincinnati. And that is a quality running back class. And I don't think we've seen a running back free agency like this in a very long time.
Spearheaded by Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, dude, that's insane.
And I didn't realize something, and I don't want to dwell on this too much because I know we'll talk about it more as free agency kicks up in a couple of weeks. For a while now, I was like, oh, Houston Texans need a running back. You know, Dallas is probably going to be in the market. You know, the Eagles, DeAndre Swift is going to be a free agent. The team I wasn't looking at, and I didn't realize they have a hole at running back, is the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. J.K. Dobbins' contract's up. Gus Edwards isn't the guy. Justice Hill's not the guy. I'll put my money where my mouth is now. I will guarantee on this show right now, week 4 of the mock draft, either Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley is going to be a Baltimore Raven. If I had to guess first, it's going to be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, because here is my theory. He goes to Baltimore. I know. Derrick Henry will be a Raven because they are a run-first option there. They don't do the check-down pass stuff. No. That's for Mark Andrews, the tight end, to take care of. Saquon Barkley is not just a pure running back. He can catch the ball downfield, short field. He can block. He can do what he needs to do. That's why I believe Saquon Barkley will find himself in the great state of Texas. And I've been saying this with the Houston
You and I
Texans
are opposite on this one.
I think, well, here's the wild card kicker, and I hate saying this one. He's going to play in Texas. I think Houston should be the first option, but I wouldn't hold Dallas out of the race. And for Barkley to go from within the division of the Giants to the Cowboys, oh, that's a great stick in the face right there. That would be hilarious. But those are my top 2 running back options. We could probably have an episode all day about running backs, but the Jets don't need a running back because they got Breece Hall.
No.
And the Niners don't need one because we got Christian McCaffrey. So the point is moot on that, but I think this is going to be a very, very intriguing offensive free agency class all the way around. Very interesting.
So a little bit of news out of San Francisco land. Turns out you're going to have a new defensive coordinator there, brother, and it ain't going to be my good defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich. No,
it will not be, and it won't be your head coach, Robert Saleh. And it's not going to be your BFF and Bill Belichick. It will not be Bill Belichick. You know, the Niners, Kyle Shanahan did a number of work on this one and called the right people and figured out what they really needed to do. And at the end of the day, the 49ers are a franchise that loves to internally hire, promote guys from the bottom to the top, and then let them go. We saw it with Saleh, DeMeco Ryans, Mike, the head coach for the Dolphins, McDaniel. You see that all the time. And the Niners pretty much just hired their assistant D coordinator, Nick Sorensen, to be promoted. He knows the guys. He knows the system. The Niners are in a win-now mentality. The Super Bowl did not go their way, and they are now having to eat crow, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. And their schedule next year is a gauntlet, one of the toughest gauntlets in the NFL next season. So they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is, and they're going to have to get back to the dance and figure out a way to get back to the Super Bowl and finally get that crown for the first time since 1995. So, I like the move. They also hired the Chargers ex-coach.
Staley.
They got Staley to be – the role is not completely disclosed at the moment, but the rumors are he is going to have some sort of an advisory role with the defense and potentially in a assistant coach thing.
Yeah.
So they haven't completely given him a title yet, but I have a feeling he's going to be working in tandem with Kyle Shanahan and watching over the defense in some way, shape, or form. Because if we remember, Staley, he got the Rams before he got the Chargers gig to be one of the top defenses, if not the top defense in the NFL. So, was he a great head coach? No, but some coaches are not meant to be head coaches.
Right. Yep.
So maybe this is a good landing spot for him. And, we'll see what happens. But I have a lot of faith in the 49ers. The biggest thing they got to worry about right now is re-signing Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver one, in my opinion, on this team. He wants an elevated role. And boy, his stats and his play this year definitely warrant that bigger contract. And with the cap space going up this year, guess what? The Niners get more money to play with. So, spend it wisely, and I think we'll be all right. But a good step in the right direction for the Niners defense.
I keep telling a lot of people, though, because, it's exciting that the salary cap goes up, but when the salary cap goes up, so do the fucking demands. So
The demands go up. So the Niners have a lot to work with. But
I want to say this as far as the whole Jeff Ulbrich to the San Francisco 49ers. First of all, it was never going to happen. And I said that. I even told you that.
No, and I never once put him in that conversation.
Second of all, lazy fucking reporting on that, dude. Some of the laziest journalism I've seen in a while, where it was just like, it was all about this guy just going from the Jets to the Niners and taking over their defenses. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. This is it. You can't do that. The NFL would never allow for a lateral movement like that. It literally states in the rule book that you can't make a lateral movement. The only way that a lateral movement can happen is if the team that you're trying to poach that coach from is if you give compensation. A la Herm Edwards 2000 going after the 2005 season when he went to Kansas City, we got a second round pick for him, I believe.
All the that's where all the compensatory picks come from.
Right.
A lot of different situations. And honestly, nowadays in that case, you would have seen Ulbrich come to the 49ers, and he would have been lateral move to the defensive coordinator, but then to wiggle out of that room, they would have given him, like Staley, that assistant coach.
Yeah, well, you have to. If you poach a coach from another team, the team that he's going to, his next title has to be a promotion. Otherwise, if it's a lateral movement, you're sending compensation over to the next team. And I just don't understand why that never made the fucking news in any of the tweets, any of the goddamn Google fucking news, like anything, NFL, nobody fucking brought that shit up, dude.
Honestly,
except me. One Jets pod was bringing it up all the fucking time, guys.
No,
and I'm not a journalist.
No, an A+ for you, and you recognized it before me. I think because it was your coach that was in limbo.
You damn right.
I don't want. He wasn't in limbo, but he was the man in question. But yeah, again, there's some common sense things, and maybe there's some casual fans that don't understand the nuances of these coaching behind the scene rules. And I can give a little pass of that. But on the media side of things, the ones that focus in this game, that's who you have to, knock, 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 wake up.
Because I'll tell you what, like I didn't know it. I had to look the rule up, but something wasn't passing the sniff test for me. Like I was like, well, wait a minute. You're telling me they can just waltz in and grab our fucking defensive coordinator? We got to say, okay, like, no, that don't make any fucking sense. Like, something's got to come our way. Like, you can't just fucking take him from us and we don't get nothing in return. Like, now all of a sudden we got to promote a guy. Like you're leaving us especially like in the middle, like going into the fucking free agency, get ready to head into the draft, like. And the guy he was just at the Senior Bowl and shit. Like, it made no sense. So I looked this shit up, dude, and I realized I was like, yeah. There it is, right fucking there. Like, and the same thing happened with Herm Edwards when Kansas City came and called him. They had to give us a fucking, I believe it was a second round pick, which I think we fucking wasted on a kicker, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know we got a pick from Kansas City for Herm Edwards.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, you know, these are all the small nuances that happen, and you know, people have to realize, you know, what the true situation is at the end of the day. But, you know, luckily this was never a case that was going to happen. Olbrecht's not going anywhere. He's not the problem with the Jets. There's no outside behaviors that are, you know, clashing behaviors, you know, with Saleh or Joe Douglas or everybody in the Jets. So, you know, I get it. We speak the same language, but for those at home that were like, oh, it could happen, it's like, that's to the same point as Robert Saleh's going to leave to go back to San Francisco. If he was going to do that, I don't think he would have ever left.
Right.
You know,
it just, and no offense to the 49ers or you, like the Niners are a great fucking franchise, and I can admit that. But homeboy's not leaving the best defensive unit in the league when either this year or next year, he's got a chance to really show his chops and probably get a head coaching job.
Probably not. Yeah. Or not probably not. Probably so. Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, and like I said, it just, to me, it just didn't make any sense why a team could just come over, poach our coach and be like, oh yeah, he's going to be our defensive coordinator. Like, no, I don't think so. Let me look into that. Oh, hey guys, by the way. And it just amazes that nobody fucking reported that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. It might've been somewhere, but dude, wherever it was being talked about, it was never mentioned. So I made it a point to mention it everywhere I was at. So
yeah, I get you. I feel you. It's the small nuances and times that really make the difference. And I really think for both sides in this case scenario, Niners and the Jets, I'll say it simply. It was never going to happen.
Right.
Never going to happen. Never going to get it, folks. But, and both parties on the defensive side of things are where they need to be.
Yeah.
And that's why I really feel when the Niners play the Jets in Santa Clara this year, it's going to be a
dogfight, especially if Aaron Rodgers is still around, bro.
If Rodgers, you know, all the history that he has with the Bay Area and when he was with the Packers and, you know, Saleh making his return to San Francisco for the first time, I think it's going to, honestly, I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm trying to be objective here, but looking at it on paper, Niners, Jets, with Aaron Rodgers healthy, should be Sunday Night Football. Or Monday Night. It should be a prime time match. And not
for sure.
And not Thursday Night Football. Shut the fuck up. It needs to be Sunday night or Monday night. And I would prefer Sunday night.
I'm telling you right now, that game will be
You're not used to saying these words.
That game will be played in either November or December. Mark my words. Mark my words. Because we're coming out of the West Coast. So,
you know, the Niners have to go to Buffalo. So I would actually prefer Niners Jets to be in the fall because that means we go to Buffalo in like September when it's not 20 degrees and freezing my butt off.
I just have this feeling it's gonna be in the later stages of the season.
Oh, the Niners luck. You know the Niners luck. And this is a Niner thing, not a Jets thing. This is a Niner thing. The NFL will schedule the way the Niners schedule will fan out. They will probably be it'll be a 2-game road trip, 10 a.m. slot on a Sunday in New York, followed by a 10 a.m. slot in Buffalo. It'll be like, get the East Coast done with at one time. And it's like,
well, wait, but don't we come to San Francisco?
Pardon me. Let me rephrase that. It'll be a 2-week span where the Niners will have to go to Buffalo and then and then the Niners the following week will have to play the Jets like on Thursday Night Football.
And they go back out on the road.
Cross country. They'll have to come cross country on a short week and then they'll have to go to maybe Seattle or Arizona. Like they'll have to do some like east, west, go up.
They did that to the Jets one year. I think if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what year this was. But I think we played at home one week, then we had to fly out to the fucking Raiders in Oakland, and then back home.
Yep.
It's like, Jesus, man, who's doing the scheduling? How about you just? How about? And I think after coming back home, I think we went back out to the West Coast to play maybe a Seattle or somebody, maybe the Chargers or something.
Yeah.
So why did you just schedule 2 fucking West Coast trips and then have us come home for 2 games?
Yeah, I know. The league is weird in that way, but at the end of the day, before we get to the mock draft here, I'm really looking forward to Jets Niners this year.
Oh, me too, dude.
You know, and
we got to figure out a way to get to that game.
I know.
I hope I'm working. If I'm working, we're going.
Yeah, because you're closer to Santa Clara than I am, but if it's on, I really do hope it's kind of later, like November, December, where it's like my holiday.
Bring your ass to Fresno, and I'll drive us the rest of the way, brother.
We can find a way.
No sense in you driving all the way from,
Oh, God.
Where do you live? Riverside?
Corona. Yeah, Riverside County, Corona.
There's no sense in you driving all the way from there to San Francisco when you could just drive 3 hours to Fresno, hop in my fucking car, share the driving duties, and we'll be good.
Yep, we can make it happen. And remember, the 49ers don't play in San Francisco. They play in Santa Clara, which is San Jose, pretty much.
That's right.
So
I know exactly where that's at. I spent about 2 years there.
So even a little closer than San Francisco.
It's a beautiful stadium. I have been there. I went to the Jets Niners back in 2016, I think it was. Played in December. It was fucking cold.
Yeah, I know. It'll be fun.
I hate myself. I'll say this before we get to the next segment. I left that game early because you guys were kicking our ass. And we got to, if I'm not mistaken, Los Banos.
Okay.
And we stopped at the Target. It was the weirdest thing. I'd never seen this before. I was in the candy aisle because we stopped, me and my ex-girlfriend at the time, we stopped to get some snacks for the rest of the road trip home.
Okay.
And I was in the candy aisle in Target, and they had a fucking TV in the corner. At first, I thought it was the camera system, or like a CCTV or whatever. And then I looked up, they were showing Jets fucking Niners highlights. Yeah. The Jets had came back to win, dude. I was like, I'm never leaving a game early ever again. I don't give a fuck if we're down 40-0.
I am one of those people that I will never leave a game early, barring a drastic emergency, because you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
I had a good ex-coworker, not to digress, but he back in the 80s, he and a buddy of his who played for the Sacramento Kings. Remember Max Christie?
Sounds familiar.
Or Doug Christie. Last name Christie. And they were good buddies. They both went to Pepperdine or they did stuff together. And they went to for all the baseball fans out there, a little game of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Kirk Gibson game?
Oh, yeah.
For all the baseball. They left an inning and a half before that moment.
Oh.
And they heard it on... They were on the 5 freeway in LA going home, and they heard it on radio.
Oh man,
that is it. And for those Jets fans out there that don't know, that aren't maybe baseball fanatics or whatever, that Kirk Gibson moment is probably a top 20 moment in baseball history.
Well, the Jet fans actually have their own big top moment like that in Jets history. It's called the Monday Night Miracle. Jets Dolphins 2000 October, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was opening day this year against Buffalo.
No, it was that. No, 2000. The Jets were, and I went to bed. I remember this. I went to bed. The Jets were down 30-7 at halftime.
Okay.
And they came back to win 40-37 to win it in overtime.
Okay.
And I remember coming out of my room the next morning. I was all pissed off, thinking, the Jets fucking lost. And I came in, and my grandfather had stayed home. My grandma was up. She had woken us all up for school. And so I went in the living room, and they were just looking at me with these shit-eating grins. And then I'm looking at my grandfather, and he's just like, "That's why you don't do it." And I'm looking, I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yep.
And he turns the TV up. He goes, "Look." And
highlights.
I'm looking, and I could see highlights, and I look down at the little lower third that says Jets defeat Dolphins in overtime, 30-7 after scoring like 21 some points in the fourth quarter. I'm like,
"Yep,
what the fuck?" And oh my god! And dude, I still had the goal at my older age to leave the 49ers game because we were fucking losing by 20 points.
You haven't learned your lesson.
I never do. I'm a Jets and Angels fan. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, if we end up going to the Jets Niner game, you damn know it doesn't care who
we ain't leaving early.
Well, we ain't. Yeah, the other person's gonna have to smuggle the other person and make them stay. I don't care if it's Niners 40-0, you got to stay. If it's the Jets up 40-0, I will stay. It's fine.
Oh man, but we split in parking because your fucking parking's ridiculously insane.
It's not SoFi Stadium. It's not SoFi Stadium.
Dude, I couldn't believe. Like, I remember driving down through that loop or whatever. And every time you pass a different parking lot, 80, 70, 60. I'm like, and finally we get to the 40. It was like the last one was $40, and I was like, I think that's the cheapest. I don't think it's going any lower.
No. Parking is expensive everywhere. Crazy.
Man.
But I'm looking forward to the game. It's gonna be good.
Absolutely. So I got one more thing I want to talk about before we get into this mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if you saw this. I didn't see it honestly. And shout out to Green Bean, the Jets fan. I'm a big fan of Green Bean. I saw this on his show. I believe it was this last week. I think into last week.
Okay.
And when I saw this clip, I'm thinking, now I love me some Ocho Cinco. But the shit he said in this clip, Don. Now I'm not going to speak for you because you have a totally different opinion here. But for me, when he said this shit, I'm thinking, as a competitor and a former NFL pro, there is no way he can seriously believe the fucking words that just came out of his mouth. And I'll let you judge for yourself.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So even if you know what I'm doing, I still got to beat you regardless. Right. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. I'm not even gonna bring up the bullshit I used to do, but it shouldn't matter. I don't care if you have my game plan. I'm still gonna whoop your ass when that motherfucking ball snap. That mentality has to be in every single player in every single snap, no matter what. They watch film on you already. They know your tendencies already. So they watch film for a week before you play. All of a sudden, them having the game plan is supposed to make that big of a difference when they got damn footage on you the last 4 games before we play each other. It shouldn't matter. It don't matter.
I gotta ask, brother, like, what do you think about that? Do you think it matters? Do you think it doesn't matter if another team has your game plan? Now, to put this into context, I'm referring to McCole Hardman, who has now been told it's been said that he has leaked game plans to not only the Philadelphia Eagles but as the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Now I want to ask you again: do you think it matters that another team has your game plan or do you not think it matters, like he said, just because they have film on you the past 4 weeks, as if every game plan is the same, or if everything you do in every game is the fucking same?
I think he's right to a certain extent, but then it falls off the wheels. Okay. I think, yes, I agree with him in the sense where there's film on all these guys, practice footage, OTA footage, game footage, all exhibition. There's footage on all these guys. And plus, when you're playing guys, and if you're a defense, and you're looking at the opposing team's offensive guys, you know as a defender, if you're playing Tampa Bay, you know who Mike Evans is. You know what his style is. If you're playing the 49ers, you know what Christian McCaffrey can do. This is a league where everybody is very self-aware of who can do what.
Right.
You know, Joe Burrow is going to throw 40 to 50 times a game, barring a different plan. And that's the transition here is you can be aware and you can have film and you can prepare on those guys. But when you're leaking game plans and schemes and different things, that alters the course of what a team is going to do. For example, like I just said, Joe Burrow can throw 40 to 50 times a game. That's his calling card. But what if against the Jets this week, the Bengals say, you know what? Their defensive game in the running portion is weaker over the last couple of weeks. They're still a great defense, but the last 2 matchups, we found some gaping holes. So we're going to run the ball down Joe Mixon's throat, and he's going to carry the ball 30-plus times. If the Jets know that, courtesy of Joe Mixon handing them the footage and the game plan, well, then you're giving away your hand. You're tipping off the other team's hand. So, yes, is there footage and is there things? Yes. But there is an element to it where you could prep all you want on footage, but if you know basically the behind-the-scenes game plan, then I don't have to watch all the footage. I just need to watch the 3 minutes where they're running these type of plays.
Right.
It compacts what you have to do.
Right.
So I get it, but then it falls off the curve when he says, well, you're already watching film. It's like, yes, but That's different right there to me.
Right, and I posted this, and I'll regurgitate what I said. I mean, if not having the fucking game plan didn't matter, then what was New England doing for years when they were recording practices? Where they had just for a Netflix and chill kind of night, just hanging out, watching some fucking game footage, some practice footage? Like, no, they were trying to get an upper hand, and that's exactly what happens when you leak somebody. Now, granted, it seems like it falls off a cliff, or like it almost like it didn't matter because, well, one game the Jets won, and the other one they played very well.
Yeah,
but I mean, offensively against the Eagles, I mean, we didn't look that great, dude.
No, it was one of those games where I don't want to say 100% was on luck, but the Eagles are on a downward spiral leading into that game, and then once the 49ers beat them, it was all downhill from there. I really believe at that sense where nobody in this league, since the Dolphins, has gone undefeated. Yeah. And I don't think we're going to see a team like that for a very long time. Not in the way the NFL is played today.
Right. And they want to add another game, too.
Yeah, they want to go to an 18-game season. That's just... If you're going to add a game in the regular season, then the preseason should only be 2 games.
And you need 2 bye weeks too.
And 2 bye weeks, exactly. So I'll be real with you, dude. If you're going to have 18 games, both bye weeks should be where every fucking team doesn't play. Just have 2 weeks where it's just no games this week. Nope.
Because they won't do that, though. They won't do that, though.
Money talks, baby.
Exactly yep.
You got to have a break within the first 9 weeks and then the last 9 weeks, and it can't be back-to-back. Like, you can't have 2 weeks off. So, with that point, with either more games, less games, again, it allows one team to have an upper hand. You can study the film all the time, and there is an art in watching film. And I'm sorry, I'm going to bring this up. Tom Brady was very excellent at breaking down the film, figuring out the opposing team's nuances on defense and in offense. Tom Brady didn't watch just footage of the opposing team's defense and figure out how to carve it up. He watched the other team's offense to see if he could pluck anything and add to their offense and help the defense annihilate their offense. There is a lost art in film. And I think a lot of players, you see it with Kyler Murray and who was it? Johnny Manziel and players that are like, I don't need footage. I got talent. There was a lost art in watching footage and really dissecting footage and do it well. And that's why I love Mason Brock Purdy. He watches film, and Aaron Rodgers does the same thing. It really helps go to the next level.
I feel like guys who don't watch film are guys who just don't understand what the fuck they're looking at.
Yeah,
and it's also why they're not good on Sundays because they can't read defenses.
It's the great Kobe Bryant said this about the state of the NBA before he passed. He said, instead of playing direct basketball, they're playing accidental basketball. Pass around, find the open shot, and whatever happens, happens. Yeah. When he was playing with the Lakers in the three-peat era, triangle offense, you knew everything that was coming from one play, this direction. That now direction is, if I roll out and pass the ball this way, well, if 2 people happen to be there, then it works out. If not, well, it's almost like playing on the fly. You can't do that nowadays. You got to be direct. And that's where the modernization of these sports, the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, so on and so forth, are changing over the years. And maybe that's why I don't want to say we're getting into I don't want to say we're getting into it. We are in it, in a more softer era of sports than we have been in years past. And I'm afraid it's going to keep getting worse.
Oh, for sure.
Going down the line. No doubt about it.
So, all right. I think we've talked their ears off enough, Dominic. I think it's time to go ahead and get into this mock draft.
Let's go.
We thank y'all for checking us out. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification if you're listening on the audio side of things. Thanks for listening up to this point. We hope you listen all the way to the end. Make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and make sure to give us a follow. Now, let's go over last week's picks real quick. We don't have to really, like I said, we talked your ear off enough, so we're just going to go down the list. At 19, because of the way we did free agency last week, we're basically taking best player available. So at 19, we took a corner from Alabama named Terrion Arnold. Then we went and got our offensive guard from Kansas State at 52, Cooper Beebe. Went in the third round at 72, replaced Mr. Bryce Huff with Brandon Dorless out of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Then we drafted Mr. Aaron Rodgers' replacement for the future, Jordan Travis, quarterback out of Florida State. Then we decided to shore up the offensive line by going offensive tackle out of Utah, Satoa Lamuea. That's what I
say it better than I do.
I feel like I do. I feel smart when I say it. And then we got us an explosive son of a bitch off the West Coast, out of Southern California, USC, wide receiver, Taz Washington. Woo, 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 woo. And then 3 picks shy of Mr. Irrelevant, number 253, center out of Florida, Mr. Kingsley Uguakin. And he likes his guac.
Man, I honestly, it was a great draft last week, and it was a little sketchy at first because we're like, wait a minute, what
are we doing?
in uncharted waters a little bit, but I think we ironed out a lot of Pac-12, a lot of SEC, but I think we focused last week on a lot of college veterans that were not too many development pieces. So I think that worked out this time around, or that time around for week 3, and going into week 4, looking, at your, with you being in the GM spot, Mr. RY over here, you got 5 years.
I got a nickname, RY. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know, RY. I got you in there. But you put together, I think, this week, simplistic but poignant. You got Ezra Cleveland, offensive guard, 5 years, $75 million. I think that's a great pick. Then you copied me. Offensive guard Kevin Dotson for 5 for 90. And then again, you doubled down and copied me again.
I sure did.
Jonah Williams, 5 for 90, left tackle. And then you just sprinkled in a little Jacoby Brissett, 2 for 16, $59 million spent on just 4 guys. That right there, look at that. Beef Steak City.
Oh, Hercules.
Man, you feel good about that.
I do. I tell you right now, man, if we went in there with that set of beefcakes, dude, holy shit, ain't nobody touching my fucking quarterback next year.
No, that's that's very good right off the bat.
That's just a beautiful sight, brother.
Yeah, so I think going after that and really shoring up that offensive line is not only going to protect Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have veteranship on that line because you want to be in that win-now mentality, and it affords you the opportunity to still draft offensive linemen regardless of guards or tackles, but you can maybe do it a little bit later in the draft for depth pieces.
And I will say this since you said that. In the fourth round.
Okay.
I think we have actually, let's look at the board real quick.
Yeah.
We did make some trades, and we'll go over that just here shortly. Okay, so we got 3 4th-round draft picks. All right, I'm going to say it right here, right now.
Okay.
The first of one of those 4th-round draft picks, if Mr. Mason McCormick is available, sir.
Oh, it's
South Dakota State.
We're not even looking. Yeah.
He's a jet.
Now that's
one of my favorite picks in the draft right now, dude.
This is our 4th time doing these drafts, and I feel these drafts are going to get quicker and quicker as we go along because we're going to see a lot of these names and remember them and so on and so forth. So guys like McCormick, are going to be somebody that we're like, we're taking him. If Joe Alt wasn't a guy, but he was a big O-line guy, maybe 3rd or 4th round, and we studied him, boom, take Joe Alt. Yep. Just some obvious choices when we see these names go around over and over and over again. We saw that a little bit last week in the wide receiver market, and I think we'll see it again this week in a couple different areas.
Absolutely. Now, as we go along, folks, I'm going to go over some trades here shortly, but as we go along, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. We'd love to see what you guys all think, guys and gals. Yeah. Now I'm going to go over the trades we made. The first one we made, I got rid of Zach Wilson. I sent him to, I believe, I want to say Minnesota.
Okay.
I don't know if it tells me. No, it doesn't tell me.
I think it might tell you at the very end when your draft is.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think I want to say I sent him to Minnesota. So I got a 4th-round draft pick out of that. And then I actually made a trade with.
It'll go into effect at number 10 after the.
I'm hoping so. Draft. I'm hoping so. We have to do this all over again. But no, I made a trade with Indianapolis to move back 5 spots and pick up a 2nd round draft pick.
Okay.
So
I like it.
I and this will probably be a theme throughout the whole fucking thing. Like, I hate not having a 2nd round draft pick, Dom. I really fucking hate that we don't have a 2nd round draft pick. And if my ideal scenario, if free agency falls the way it does, I really hope that somehow the Jets can somehow figure a way to trade back a little bit and maybe pick up a additional first round pick next year, and then get a 2nd round draft pick in this year's draft. I want one so bad. This is a great draft to not have a fucking 2nd round pick, dude. All right, and we're back again. Technical difficulties here on the One Jets pod. We seem to have those every week with these
damn simulators.
So we've switched simulators. We've now gone to the Pro Football Network mock draft. We're just going to go with that this week.
You got to roll with the changes. What are you going to do?
So we traded Zach Wilson. We got a 5th round pick. We made a trade with Indianapolis to move back 5 spots and pick up a 2nd round pick. So that's where we're at.
We're ready to draft.
Let's do it, my friend.
Here we go.
Let's make sure we go over here. All right.
Number 1, I think Caleb Williams goes 1 again.
You think he's going to Chicago?
Sure, why not? Let's go with it.
Hey, how about it? All right, let's first of all.
We already made our trade today, so we are done.
Yeah.
So what happened here? Williams, May, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison to Chargers. That'd be dangerous.
Oh my God, the receivers are fucking just falling off the board.
All right, JJ. Okay, before we get it, what is the hype about JJ McCarthy?
I have no idea.
It's not
national champions. All I can think.
How in this mock draft does Brock Bowers fall to 12? Any hoozle.
Hey, look at our guy that we drafted last week. He went to Indianapolis at number 10, where we were. Originally.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, let's be real here.
And we picked Terry in at 19 last week after trading with the Rams.
Yeah, so let's talk about this theoretically. We already talked about it, that based on the free agency that we signed with Ezra Cleveland, Kevin Dotson, Jonah Williams, and Jacoby Brissett, the O-line is taken care of. So this time around, we were going to go offense, and wide receiver was easily the first place that we were going to check into.
Yep. And those are currently the best wide receivers on the board.
And this is the same top 5 we talked about 2 days ago when I did a test simulator. So Brian Thomas Jr., Keon Coleman, and Mitchell, and Xavier Worthy, who has speed and at the combine and was very good. So interesting what we have here at number 19, Brian Thomas Jr. 15. Read a little bit about him.
Yeah.
Or pardon me, at 15.
6'3", 209. After years of missing out on the traditional X-wide receivers, standing at 6'2" and weighing over 200 pounds, the 2024 NFL draft class has made up the difference. Brian Thomas Jr. is a true alpha who wins at will in the red zone. And what did we do last year in the red zone, Mr. Sir? We struggled mightily.
Struggle wasn't even struggle's a poor word.
That's fucking fair. Now, however, he also possesses more than enough fluidity and prowess, as a route runner. Additionally, he's explosive enough to threaten defenses downfield.
He has a 143.2 QBR when quarterbacks throw to him. His hands are 78%. His short receiving is 84. His intermediate routes are 88, 93 on the deep routes. And he has a 66% blocking ability. And most wide receivers we've looked at in previous mock drafts were basically 58% and below.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, based on what you read, we could talk about strength and weaknesses all day long. Mm-hmm. I think at the end of the day, I think he's in the 95 percentile for a 4.33 40-yard dash. He's 6'3". He's got height. 208. He's got a little bit of meat to him. I think this is a situation where you got to get best man up. Brian Thomas Jr. Should be a New York Jet.
Oh, and I think we're not looking any further. I think that's exactly
Cut to the
Brian
chase.
Thomas Jr. is about to be, and that's a New York Jet. Ladies and gentlemen, with the 19th overall pick on the One Jets Pod weekly mock draft, the New York Jets select wide receiver LSU Brian Thomas Jr. All right. Great fucking pick. You know, and I haven't really I haven't done a lot of homework on him. Yeah, I will be going forward as these mock drafts continue.
Progress.
I love everything you said about him, dude. And I will be looking at highlights on this kid.
I think it's good.
Everything you said.
So now to 40, or what number are we at? 42? No. Where
we are currently at 46.
46. So if you go back to see some of the big names that came off the board, because after the first two rounds, it's kind of over at that point. So you had guys like, let's see, J.C. Latham.
Wow, hold on. Jared Verse, Quinion Mitchell. Who the fuck are these guys in the first round?
No, Latu going 19. That's low. He's always gone above 10. Newton Chop Robinson, I've heard a lot of good things about.
The second. Chop Rob. Johnny Newton?
This is interesting.
The simulator is fucking
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Bo Nix.
What is going on right now, dude?
This is interesting. I'm glad we look back because which tells me there is. If we keep going into the beginning of round 2, there's got to be some really good names on this list that are still there.
This is insane, dude.
Tyler Guyton, Darius Robinson, Michael Penix Jr. to the Raiders, Ladd McConkey. Wow. Okay, there's some quality guys. There's some quality guys still out there here for this pick.
Oh, yeah.
Best available right now is Jordan Morgan, the offensive tackle for Arizona. Mm-hmm. I believe we picked him in the first time we did a mock draft.
I believe so.
Where are we looking at? Because we know we settled the offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line settled.
You know, we
could go Jordan Morgan here for depth piece.
For depth
piece? I mean, he would definitely be a guy that if there's an injury on the offensive line could slot right in and start.
How do you feel about defensive tackle?
That's where I was going next. With Bryce Huff out the door. Now real quick, I don't know if you've heard this. We probably should have talked about this earlier when we were rambling a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard, but Mike Lombardi, former NFL Network analyst and reporter, leaked. I wouldn't say leaked, but he had said that there's a team. Now, mind you, folks, it is currently March 6th. I'm sorry about that. It is March 6th. Legal tampering hasn't even started, let alone free agency. Yep. And Michael Lombardi said there's already a team that's offered Bryce Huff a deal.
Well, the only team that wouldn't be tampering would be the Jets.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like that's who's offered him a deal. So I'll tell you right now, if he signs quickly, there better be in a fucking investigation.
Either that or it could, regardless of the investigation, you want him to sign early so the Jets can have a forward motion. If he signs day one of free agency, maybe the Jets go after a free agent defensive tackle.
Yeah, but that's tampering, dude. And you know what? Let me fucking say this. You know, for all the shit that the Jets get, everybody's talking shit. People sure are fucking tampering a lot with our players and going after and picking our coaches. What the fuck?
Yeah, no.
We must be doing something right in fucking Florham Park.
The lines are blurred all the time. They are blurred, my friend, blurred.
But no, I'm thinking here, dude. I'm thinking
defensive
it's time.
Tackle.
You got to replace Bryce Huff, even if it's a situational deal. I think you can get. I think a guy at 43, as a guy in a situational pass rush ordeal, I think can come in. So you can slot him in.
Yeah, let's see,
and he could play.
Yeah, let's see who they got available here on the defensive side of things. So you got Trevonde Sweat, Michael Hall Jr., Chris Jenkins, Rook, or Horhoro from Clemson. So you got some good ones.
You also saw some edge here. You got Adisa Isaac and Braylon Trice.
What about the line?
I think I want to focus on DT though.
You want to do DT? Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about.
And I want to look at these top two. These ones are the most interesting.
Yeah, and I think still at 46 overall, you still want to go again at the top, best available. Trevonde Swift is first off. Tell me a little bit about.
Guy is huge, man. 6'4", 366 pounds. He's like I said on here. He is a mammoth. Sweat is a force to be reckoned with.
That is a big boy.
Defense. Absolutely.
That's a big boy.
He makes everything possible for his teammates, holding up extremely well at the point of attack, even against double teams. Oh, he sounded like Quentin Williams right now. Mm-hmm. He's a big part of the reason the Longhorns had such a massively improved front seven in 2022. Sweat stats aren't impressive due to his role, as he's amassed only 124 tackles and 5 sacks over 5 seasons. However, his 2023 season was his best yet. Consistently getting into the backfield in addition to demanding double teams. We've seen a trend of huge athletic defensive tackles going in the first, and Sweat looks poised to be the next. And we got a chance to get him here in the second.
I'm going to make this very simple. I'm going to make even though I'm not the GM this week,
okay.
We will be drafting Sweat. He is a 77% tackler. He's got a 95 rating on his pass D and 100% in the run defense.
Oh my Lord.
He is not only we already talked about it, a specimen based on his photo and numbers, but he dominates the space in the run defending category with his huge frame, formidable presence, and his upper body strength. Even though he's not getting the tackles, he's wreaking havoc and allowing other players around him to do. So he does the dirty work so they can get the credit.
Right. And that's exactly what Quentin Williams does in the defense currently.
Exactly. So you're basically getting, Williams' sidekick.
Yeah.
And, his biggest weakness is he lacks the initial impact that a typical pass rusher has, so that explosiveness. So he's dominant. He's consistent, but he's just not to that dominant level. Well, no, he hasn't played a lick of the NFL yet. It would give him time with a guy like Quentin Williams in that D-line, and I think he'll adjust just fine.
Absolutely. And I'm sitting here reading Rook Aurorhoro. I don't know how the fuck you say that name.
Aurorhoro.
I mean, he's a big boy too, 6'4", 295 pounds. Originally from Nigeria. He's still green as a football player, as it says right here.
He is green. 76 on the tackling, so about the same. But here's the difference. Sweat, 95% in the pass game. Mm-hmm. Horhor, 71.
Oh, wow.
Run defense, 100 for Sweat, only 80 for Horhor. Trevonde Sweat from Texas, hook 'em horns. You're a Jet.
Absolutely. How do you say this? Tavondre Sweat?
Tavondre Sweat. Tavondre.
I'm about to get used to saying that, but Mr. Tavondre Sweat, welcome to the New York Jets. Hey, how about it? No thanks. Actually, let's just go ahead and reject all these.
Yeah, we don't need him.
Oh, Washington took Cedric Van Pran. Great fucking pick.
Okay.
So here we are at 72.
So 72. After 72, how many picks? What's the next pick after 72? Is it 112?
112.
Okay. So we can afford to be a little dicey here. So we're taking a wide receiver, defensive tackle. I think this would probably be the time to get that depth offensive lineman piece.
I believe you're right.
Because you want quality. You want quality before things start going in a downward spiral. So, seen any Christian Mahogany, Mason McCormick, the 4th best offensive guard. Okay.
What?
Is it too early though? Because we do have a pick at 112.
Do you think we can take Mason? Do you think he'll still be there at 112?
Well, he's the 4th best guard. Let me look at the offensive tackles. He's rated 121. Now, go to the tackles for a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 guys on the offensive line out of tackles and out of.
There's a center.
No, he's better than the top offensive center. So he is the 9th best offensive lineman on the table right now. There's about 39 picks before us again. Oh, it'll be a bubble pick. It'll be close. Because I know we've talked about Christian Mahogany before, and we weren't sold on him. Now, what about my namesake, Dominic Pooney, out of Kansas? But he's rated 98. Oh,
man,
well.
We got no write-up on him, but he's 6'5", 313 pounds. That's a beefcake and a half.
Yeah, the other half of me is in bed sleeping right now. That's what makes up the 300 and whatever pounds of myself.
They don't even got nothing on my boy Mason. What is going on? 6'4", 309. Boy.
You know, we talked about McCormick being a guy that I think is very underrated in this draft.
Yeah.
It's just it's the simulator. You're playing the simulator right now. Now, some of these guys we haven't talked about before. Rosengarten,
Rosenbagger.
Man, Rosenbagger over here. For general purposes, let's just talk about it for a second, because McCormick is always somebody we can look at the end of the day.
Big boy, though, 6'5", 308.
So let me see where we're at here. So who's the best one? Okay, so he's not even in the top 2 here. Okay, here we go. So the second guy on that list from Yale, he's rated as the 14th best. Then Mahogany, who's on the guard side of things, is number 20. I am not even seeing that first guy anywhere.
Rosengarten?
I am not seeing him. Oh, here he is. He's rated 28th.
Oh, wow.
That I don't know how that's going to flow at the end of the day. He's 87% pass blocking, 66% run blocking. His strengths are feisty, tough, competitive attitude. He finishes his hits. He's a quick twitch, quick trigger right off the ball, consistent feet work. He struggles to get past the point of attack. He displays a decent amount of strength, but he lacks that raw power to establish the line of scrimmage. And he doesn't have that great of balance to his game. Now, the other guys on this list, which I find interesting, Dominic Pooney, he's rated higher. He's at number 19. And the guy from Yale on the offensive tackle side of things is ranked number 14. So different scenarios here. With the kid from Yale, Karan Imaji, his defensive rating is at a whopping 34%. But his pass blocking is 94 and his run blocking is at 80.
Oh, man.
So a little bit of a juxtaposition here. Okay, here's a fun fact, though. On the kid from Yale, his player comparison is to the one and only Elijah Vera Tucker.
Oh, wow.
They were 80.
So we shouldn't let him play in Denver.
Yeah, there's an 84% relatability to Elijah Vera Tucker.
Okay.
So first step.
You kind of sold me with the fucking using that name, brother.
I think in this case scenario, I think if we want to go McCormick now, we can, or if we wait till 112 and see if he's alive, then I would exit the guard position, focus on tackle, get this kid that reminds you of Vera Tucker, and hope that McCormick's still alive. Because I feel it's a little early to go McCormick.
All right. Oh, man, I feel like I'm gambling on my boy McCormick here.
I know. I feel it, too. I'm afraid. Watch, he gets picked at 111. I'll be...
I guarantee fucking to you, dude. Oh, man.
Are we going to go from the great, Yale University? Or are we going McCormick?
Do they ever have great players?
I don't know. Yes. Oh, no, he was Harvard. Kyle Juszczyk.
Them too.
Hey, Kyle Juszczyk, best fullback in football, baby.
Oh, man. Oh, that likeness to Vera Tucker, though, like.
Kind of sells.
I mean, I know that's not a foregone conclusion. He'll be like Elijah Vera Tucker, but I mean that's a selling point for me, though.
Oh, 100%.
Oh man.
You're the GM this week. You get final say, baby.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're going to have to go offensive tackle here.
Okay.
Just in case, and I hate to say it, knock on wood.
Let's hope
Eric
for
Tucker goes down, whole season, length, certain short period of time, whatever. This guy might be able to step in and handle it for a little bit, I would hope.
Karan Amagarji? Amagraji?
Works for me.
There we go. He's a Jet.
We'll call him K.A. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New York Jets offensive tackle from Yale. Carrying Amagraji. I swear to God, don't you fucking don't.
I hate that.
Hold on.
I think we're safe. I didn't see him come off the board.
Yeah, baby.
That was so close.
Oh,
Wait,
man.
Hold on. Time out. Check the offensive tackle category. Oh yeah, there's okay. So a lot of them went off the board there. Oh, we lucky. Well, we don't even need to question this one here.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, this one's easy.
Mason
Offensive
McCormick.
guard, South Dakota State. Bad motherfucker, by the way.
Mason McCormick.
Woohoo!
Okay, now we get the pick 114 here.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the big board. Ooh, bro, I don't even think this should be a question.
Okay, well, who picked 113? I just want to see who picked after Mason McCormick. What did the Giants take?
Ray Davis, running back Kentucky.
Okay, they didn't take anybody.
I honestly don't think this should be a fucking debate, bro. Trotter Jr. still sitting there?
Don't get him.
Let's read about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Real quick. Let's tickle some fancies here.
Let's
6 foot even, 228 pounds. This kid's a solid fuck.
Yep.
All right.
89 tackles, 13 and a half tackles.
Why are they giving us 2022 stats? That's fucking weird.
Hey, it's all right. 6.5 sacks, 2 picks, 5 pass deflections, 6 foot 230. He's a dense, well leveraged linebacker over the middle who offers great instincts and awareness for his age. If that was 22, he amped up the game in 23. He's at a great school with Dabo Sweeney and Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't see a need to look at anybody else. Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Before we do, though, can we at least get the NFL draft buzz right up on him?
Well, if you want, I have no problem giving it to you because at the end of the day, it's what the people
do it
want.
so well, sir.
You gotta give the GM and the people what they want. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he is listed, honestly, as the 6th.
Jeff has love this pick too, coming out of Clemson.
Yeah, 6th best linebacker in the draft.
Yeah.
And overall, 6 foot, 4.6 40-yard dash. He's got some speed. 81% defensive rating, 66 tackling, 86% pass rush, 84 on the run defense, 87 in coverage defense. Let's see. Player comparison. I don't know the names right off the top, so a lot of younger guys. Energetic, level motion, good closing burst speed when blitzing, possesses a range of coverage sideline to sidelines and crucial outside runs. His weaknesses: faces challenges in the run defense, but if you have a good defensive line, he can worry about being a linebacker in that sense. He just needs to clean up the tackling abilities and just getting a little bit stronger in the weight room.
Totally coachable.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr., if you'd like to be a Jet, we will welcome you.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Let's go.
Great fucking pick. Wow. Can't believe he was available, dude.
Let's see what we got here now. I think we got a pick at 150 something. 166.
Coming up on it.
But
before we do our pick, let's just kind of go over our draft here. At pick 15, we take wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
At 46, we took Devondre Sweat, defensive tackle out of Texas. Third round, we took offensive tackle. This is Dominic's guy right here, Kyrian Amadaji.
K.A.
And then, of course, my guy.
Yep.
I said this at the beginning before we even drafted. If he was available, he would be a fucking Jet.
And we got close. We got lucky.
We got real lucky, dude. We we're able to go back-to-back picks, solidifying the offensive line depth. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yep.
And then just now, we just learned that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was available at 114. That was a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I think since we really solidified those two offensive linemen, I think here at 166, look, what does the quarterback market look like?
I knew you were going to say that.
Now I know. I know you look at Jacoby Brissett. Ooh, it's bad.
It's not too bad. Hartman's still there, but Joe Milton's stock has risen through the combine. I know that doesn't mean much.
Because you were very low. You didn't give a flying fig about him a couple weeks ago.
Sure didn't. But right now, he's growing on me. He is growing on me. So I would not be opposed to picking Joe Milton here at 166. But we can look at other available.
Well, you have Jacoby. Now again, in the situation, you have Jacoby Brissett on a 2-year, $16 million deal. Mm-hmm. Which isn't the end of the world if you bring in another quarterback to fit in that mix. Overall, you have defensive tackles, safeties, defensive tackles, linebackers, cornerbacks available up high. He's farther down the board, about 30 players down. Mm-hmm. What pick do we have after 166?
187.
I think he'd be available at 187.
Okay.
Because a lot of quarterbacks got sent early.
Yeah.
But he is the best one available still, though. Ooh.
What do you think about safety? We could use a safety.
What's the depth on safety right now for the Jets' current roster?
Oh man, that's a good.
I can pull it up for you if you like.
I think it's I think Whitehead. No,
here it is right here. Safety position. Right now you have Whitehead and Chuck Clark. And
who do we just lose to free agency though?
I'm not
sure. My God, it's slipping my fucking mind right now.
Yeah, right now the safety position is kind of weak right now.
And Chuck Clark's on the older side of things.
Chuck Clark is an unrestricted free agent.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, here's food for thought. Chuck Clark, your strong safety, free agent. Jordan Whitehead, free safety, free agent. Your backup strong safety, Ashton Davis, free agent. So I think
we'll re-sign him though. There's talks about him getting like a 3-year, like $18 million.
So in this case, I will take a safety at this point, and then we'll focus on the quarterback. If we're looking at needs.
I mean, obviously, Kenny Logan Jr. is the best one.
Yeah. And I don't think that's even a question at that point.
Right, yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and pick Kenny Logan Jr. at 166. We need safety, ladies.
You need safety. So let's see if... I think he stayed available. I think QB stayed available.
Still there.
Take Joe Milton.
There. All right. Sure as shit.
Here we go.
Next pick is 253. We got picks 253, 254, and Mr. Irrelevant.
God, we have a lot of the back end here.
Yeah, we do.
Here we go. So we can really... All right. So what do we got?
There's the big board.
So
Jawar Jordan. We've heard that name a few times in this.
And it's not good.
No, it's not.
It's not good. So we have back-to-back picks here. So we really don't have to be too specific at this point.
We've drafted Isaac Rex before, haven't we?
We have.
In the first episode?
First episode, baby. That's right.
We have a write-up on them.
No. Now, do the Jets need a tight end?
Not really, but this would be more for depth purposes.
So what is the...
We just released C.J. Uzomah, saving $5.3 million to be exact. So we have Tyler Conklin, and then...
what about a running back?
Jeremy Ruckert.
Yeah, Ruckert, I think.
Ooh, I think I know where I might want to go here then at running back.
Well, Jawar Jordan.
There he is right there.
That is so... we have back-to-back picks available. What other running back... Just to see what this has. So, Jawar Jordan, Dylan Johnson, Ali, Chase McClellan out of Alabama. Was that their main... No, that wasn't their main running back this year, was it? I think it was.
Was it considered a 4-star prospect? Initially committed to Oklahoma, eventually chose Alabama.
No. Yeah.
It appears.
No, he was. I think their backup.
He missed 6 games due to injury.
No. Okay.
Had 2,073 yards as a junior student, was scoring 47 touchdowns. Wait, what?
Yeah, this write-up looks weird. I mean,
He scored 47 touchdowns in one fucking year. What the hell? That's the way I'm getting. That's the way it's coming off to me.
Running backs here. Let's see where the running backs are. Brooks, Robinson. Nobody in the top 12 is still available. Jace McLennan is ranked as the 16th best running back in the market.
Hey, look who's still there. Kingsley Uguakin.
If you want to add to the offensive centerman position.
I wouldn't be mad. And we picked it. We've picked this guy before.
What about wide receivers? Just to see what's still available down there. Isaiah Williams.
Bub Means. That sounds familiar. I feel like we've looked at him before.
There's a couple decent ones. I don't know, because we didn't take any wide receivers in free agency.
No.
So
no, we got us a stud at number 15 in Brian Thomas Jr.
Do we need another piece?
No, I'd say wide receiver would be 6. We still got Allen Lazard.
Okay. And, he plays better with Aaron Rodgers on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you could go anywhere. You could go, centerman with Ugakin again.
Yeah, I think I like that pick. I think I'm gonna go more offensive line depth. We have go Kingsley Ugakin.
We have pick 253 and 254, so we're safe either way. No one's gonna steal the next pick. So Ugakin, put a little guac on this one. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Right back at it.
All right. So I would say.
Well, we have a pick again. What, 256?
Yeah. It says 257 here, but I guess it would technically.
No, it is 257.
Oh, I thought 256 was Mr. Irrelevant. Am I tripping?
I thought 266 is irrelevant. 262. 262.
Really?
No. Yeah,
I didn't know the draft went that fucking high.
Because it depends on compensatory picks.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The year Brock Purdy, he was 262.
You're right.
So this year it's 257.
Oh man.
Offensive. I think we've taken care of the offensive line, and we took a defensive lineman, we took a linebacker, we took a safety. So really, the only offensive we've gotten is the backup quarterback and the wide receiver. Everywhere we've kind of spread everything out in proper means this time around. I'm not a huge fan of Jawar Jordan right off the back. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh man, I don't know.
Dylan Johnson, the running back, and I know we have we like to tickle our fancy with Frank Gore Jr. But we've done that. So just Dylan Johnson, he's 6 foot, 4.68, so he's not the fleetest of foot. But he's got 84% rushing ability, 63% breaking tackle, 69 with the reception, 66 pass blocking, and only 55% in the run blocking category. He's projected to go in the 6th round. They relate him to Travis Dye, who was the big running back at Oregon back in the day. Zonovan Knight as another positional player.
Former Jet.
So he shows resilience, toughness, exhibits rare size and strength. He needs to improve in his pass blocking capabilities, and his IQ/vision needs a little refinement. So it's really the pass blocking issues for him that are his troublesome issues.
But how does he stack up against Frank Gore Jr., excuse me.
FG Jr.?
Because if you ain't better than Frank Gore Jr., I ain't picking you.
Okay. So Dylan Johnson is rated 15. Frank Gore Jr. is 20.
Really?
Frank Gore Jr. is a little shorter at 5'8".
Oh, okay.
And just a couple tenths slower on the 40-yard dash.
Okay.
His rushing ability is at 82%. 71 at breaking tackle, 60 at receiving, 66 at pass blocking, and only 50 at run blocking. So they're very similar in similar regards.
Mm-hmm.
Gore flips upfield naturally in the screen passing game, brings a nice blend of power and passing, instinctive runner, straight line speed, multi-purpose back. Here's the key that could turn the tide. Excellent blocker on the outside. His negative, his size, and getting more comfortable in traffic. So Frank Gore Jr. seems like a pick.
Yeah.
Just on that pass blocking, should be ability. And even though
he's been my favorite running back in this draft.
I'm really surprised that Pro Football has him rated so low.
This is why I don't really like using this one, man. I'm going to spend this whole week figuring out these fucking simulators and how we can get it right, because I really don't like this one.
No, but
being real,
honestly, it reads nice. It's not horrible. It's just the rating system is interesting.
Yeah, that first round was fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, right?
Frank Gore Jr. at 254, and we are at our final pick at 257.
Is this Mr. Irrelevant?
I think.
Yeah, this is Mr. Irrelevant.
This is what our big board looks like. We got Sam Hartman and Isaac Rex, two former picks on this show.
My gut is telling me, I know you got Alan Lazard, but a wide receiver.
You know what? For you, we will go wide receiver with the final pick.
I think because
whatever receiver, you know what, Dominic? The floor is yours. I want you to make this pick.
Is it because I have Mr. Irrelevant experience with Brock?
No, it's because you won't shut up. Just kidding.
Then God damn it,
have your receiver.
Take a fucking kicker. Take a kicker.
Turn line sight somewhere else. Fuck me. We should have took one of the fourth round. Wait, we should look. What the hell?
Yeah, we're
look at kickers anyway.
Cam Little. Cam Little. Joshua.
I'll draft him just based on his fucking name. Oh, no, hold on. I want to go back. Excuse me.
Do it.
I want to go back to the first round.
I can find where some of these guys are rated.
It's Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mean, he sounds like a fucking lion because it's like, who?
If Kool-Aid McKinstry was like a big, beefy 300-pound lineman,
oh man,
the jokes would write themselves. I'm sorry. All
right, brother. Like I said, the pick is yours. I know you want receiver, so whatever receiver you want, we will take. So
hey, when you have Aaron Rodgers, you know you're going to want depth.
Yep.
Because he will utilize it. And I know, and no disrespect to Gibson and everybody else in the pipeline for the Jets, but hey, having that ability is never a bad thing. Isaiah Williams, 79.8% coming out of Illinois. The Illini, 5'9", 4.63 40-yard dash. He's a deep threat, 82%. Intermediate routes, 81. Short receiving, 82. Overall, he's a 76% receiver. Fluid athlete, short area quickness, able to create separation for himself, and he works up the seam and accelerates as he continues each 10 yards. An excellent blocker on the outside, and you know I've talked about this a lot, about getting extra blocks, and we got it with Frank Gore, and you could get it right here with Isaiah Williams. The negatives, only 2 negatives about him on his draft, and it's NFL defenders may be able to knock him down on first hit because of his thin frame. And that's pretty much it. Just about his height and his frame. So more positives than negatives, and he's rated as the best one at this point.
What was his 40?
His 40, let me pull it back up here. His 40-yard dash was 4.63 in the top 11%.
Not bad.
You know, he's got 9 good arms, good hands. He's 5'9", 182. But get him in the training room. You could get him up to maybe 5'9", 200. Steve
Smith wasn't big either.
No. 79.8 out of 100. He is, four-star recruit out of high school.
Wow.
And he's a fifth-year senior who had 12 games, 82 catches, 1,055 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a QB rating of 93.8 in his final season with the Illinois Illini.
All right.
Isaiah Williams, Give it to me, baby, Mr. Irrelevant.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey Isaiah, how about you come over and play with Aaron Rodgers, huh? How about it?
Happy day.
Hey,
there's your draft, folks.
There is the final result.
Looks great. I think, and like we talked about, this was a quicker draft, especially in the middle rounds, from 112 to 250, pretty much to the end. It was very quick.
I would say this is probably, outside of the one where Joe Alt fell, I would say this is probably our next best draft.
I would say, mock draft 2 was the best. This is the second best.
Yeah.
And it's a tie between 1 and 3 because week 1 was, getting used to it. And last week was just odd the way I formulated the free agency. And we were just kind of, losing our, shitting our pants a little bit at 19 overall. So I like it. I think we're in a good spot right here. And I think you got 2 wide receivers to bookend the draft. Mm-hmm. You got 2 back-to-back offensive tackles. Pardon me, a defense. You got a defensive tackle, then offense, linebacker. So you right there between 46 and 114, you got quality starters and especially depth pieces.
Yeah.
And then the safety, Kenny Logan Jr. was a nice little sprinkle on the cupcake on the defense. And then, the Joe Milton status went up for you. And then Iguakin, we kind of know, another additive piece. So really the offensive line, with all the additions you made on the bottom of the screen with Cleveland, Dotson, and Williams, you added 3 more to the bunch. There's that starting line right there.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Sexy! Oh,
yeah. Oh. No, careful. Don't get on the camera now. Hey, but you got, K.A. Mason McCormick.
Oh, dude. I tell you right now, if Mason McCormick's available in every draft, he's going to be a Jet. I'm putting it right here. I don't care what Dom says. As long as he's available, he will always be a Jet on this show. Dude, could you imagine if he just falls to us and we pick him in real life? I will lose my shit.
Honestly, the more I read about him, I think he's sneaking under the radar. I really believe that.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I'm happy. Screenshotted, baby. Week 4 was success.
Absolutely, man. No, great fucking draft. Great free agency. Great fucking show, man. I mean, I know we talked your ears off for the first, it was damn near 40 minutes of the show. But hey, we had some shit to say. We had some quality stuff to talk about, and
damn
things I had to get off my chest. But I hope everybody enjoyed this week's mock. Like I said, I think it's our second best mock of the 4 weeks that we've done it so far. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to Dominic. Now, Dominic, you had brought something up in our private conversation about an episode of the mock draft. Do you want to tell the folks at home what you were thinking?
Do you want to remind me what I thought about? Because I won't remember.
Something about, if I'm not mistaken.
Do I need to go back in the chat?
No, it was something about where
I think you do something.
You do a draft and I do a draft for the Jets, and we compare each other's draft. We see which one the fans like the best.
Yes, I think I said it. And I'm going to remember this. I may be almost 30, but I will figure this out. I said, or we talked about Calvin Ridley. We talked about quarterbacks yesterday. I think. Wow, this is looking very horrible for me right now. This I look like an idiot at this moment.
Uh-oh.
No, wait. No, because I just can't even find what I was going to tell you. Wow. Oh, here we go. I found it.
Oh, there you go.
I put in our internal chat. I had a near the draft, or maybe next week, we each do a separate draft. Then on the episode, we compare why we drafted the way we did and kind of do a grading scale. Like, here's Dominic's draft. And then I talk about it, you agree, disagree, and we kind of pencil and do different things and see what everybody thinks about it. And then for the second half of the show, you did a mock draft and go from there.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, but
I'm definitely I like that idea. It'll definitely be closer to the draft. That'll be a special episode, I think. But I'm very much looking forward to you hopping back, flipping that hat backwards, and hopping back into the GM chair.
Yes, I
Looking
think.
forward to seeing what you bring us in free agency next week.
You know, we went heavy O line this week. Last week was last week with me. It was offense. You know, a little bit of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee this week there will be no free agent running backs coming.
Oh wow! Okay,
unless by some strike me down God says Breece Hall's not a Jet anymore, which I don't think that's happening. But maybe we spice things up, and maybe in the free agency pool, there's a couple of trades that happen.
Ooh.
You know, I think I'm gonna have to go to the drawing board, and I'm gonna think unique. I'm gonna go more on the more unique side of things this week. Got to spice it up a little bit.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yep.
But again, hell of a draft, Dom. I mean, I think we nailed this one this week, knocked it out of the fucking park. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to know what you think. You know, down in the comment section below, let us know what you think about this week's draft, and let us know what you would have done differently. We love the feedback. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that bell notification so you're notified every time we drop some content here on YouTube. If you're listening on the audio side of things, thanks for listening all the way to the end. Make sure to follow us and give us a 5-star. On behalf of my good buddy Dominic here on the One Jets Pod Weekly Mock, I'm Randy Oz, and we'll see you down the road. Go Jets!
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium. Hit it!